Part 3 continues with Ben continuing his training and finally lifts the medical furnace, then he reaches the final stage of level 1 of cultivation. As he lifts it, he remembers the palace which we saw in Part 1. He recovers his memories from the past. We are shown a few years ago, Ben's grandfather, while doing a purification process, went into the mountains and never returned. So Ben's parents went searching for him, leaving Ben in the care of his aunt. Ben's aunt's son, who has a special eye, tells her that Ben has a special bone in him, which is rare and makes people so powerful. Shocked, Ben's aunt forbids her son to tell anyone. One day, Ben's aunt, with wrong intentions, takes him to a secret room along with another man. She ties Ben and starts to extract the bone from him, and transfer it to her son. Ben feels severe pain while transferring the bone because he was conscious while the process was going on. Yaya, a girl from Ben's clan, sees this and panics. She goes to Ben's other grandfather to inform him. Ben's grandfather intervenes and confronts Ben's aunt. When he was about to punish her, Vilgax, her son, threatens to harm himself if his mother is hurt. The case is taken to the elders of the family. Ben's grandfather requests them to return Ben's bone to him back, but Loki, Vilgax's father, says transferring it back will put Ben's life at risk. Then elders decide that Ben's bone will be returned to him in 10 years if he manages to survive. Ben's parents, searching for Ben's grandfather in the mountains, are informed of what happened to Ben. Meanwhile, Loki was gathering warriors, searching for Yaya and Ben, intending to harm them to keep the bone in their clan. Yaya, returning baby Ben to his parents, who turned like this because of transferring his special bone to Vilgax, explains everything to them. Angered, Ben's father decides to take revenge. It connects to the starting scene in Part 1, where Ben's father, carrying Ben, fights the soldiers to get justice for his son. Despite Loki asking him to stop, his father's fury continues. He tries to kill Ben's aunt but is stopped by their supreme ancestor. Because Goku was not stopping, their ancestor increases Vilgax's powers and attacks them, but Ben's father uses his dragon powers in return to defend them from it. In the next scene, we see Ben has remembered many things. Ben asks Max, "What happened to my parents?" Max tells him, while escaping from the attack somehow, they came to the Stone Village, which was their ancestors' village. They came here so that Tree God's spirit can heal you a bit. They didn't want to take any risk because Loki's soldiers were still behind them. That's why they moved to another village while leaving you with us. Ben says, "I also want to go to my parents." Max says, "That place is too far, and you can't go there." Ben didn't listen to him and was worried. He says, "I will go there and will meet my parents." Max gives him a shining stone and tells him the tree god and this stone came from the sky once. The tree god's spirit tells him there is a special technique in this stone. You will be able to learn that as time passes. No matter even if that supreme bone isn't in your body, do remember there is time for everything to regrow. Ben realizes that the supreme bone is regrowing in him. Later, he leaves with King Kong and Unicorn. Meanwhile, a white tiger attacks them on the way. This white tiger was already injured, and Ben kills it to save himself. Meanwhile, Julie arrives. She was furious. She asks Ben why he killed this tiger? "This was my prey." Seeing King Kong with Ben, she understands this is the kid named Ben whom she met a few years ago. Ben recognizes her and remarks, "You're a lot fatter than you used to be." Julie gets irritated hearing this and attacks him, but suddenly a dragon attacks them. Ben runs along, taking Julie with him. Then Julie says while leaving her hand from his hand, "I can end it easily." Later, she attacks the dragon. But her attack doesn't affect the dragon. Ben says, "Now I have to use my technique." He uses the technique of the lion beast and ends the dragon. But he faints immediately because so much energy was needed to use this technique. When he awakes, Julie asks him to eat the egg. Ben refuses to eat it. Julie questions, "Why? Why are you refusing to eat it?" Ben claims, "I won't eat eggs because I promised Windy I wouldn't." Julie asks, "Who is Windy?" Ben says, to irritate her, that it is a secret. Julie gets annoyed with it and comes to Ben and forces him to eat it. Ben, while avoiding it, throws away. Meanwhile, King Kong informs Ben that Julie worked hard to bring this egg. You should eat it, using his gestures. Hearing this, Ben eats the egg. He also manages to cool off Julie because she is upset with him. King Kong and Unicorn are shown playing together. Later we see the eggshell from which Ben ate starts shining. Meanwhile, the bird arrives whose egg was taken by Julie. They run from there as they see the bird. They fall into a stream and pass out. As soon as Ben comes to his senses back, he brings them out. During this, a girl named Krista was watching them. Ben wants to wake Julie. He uses his power along with King Kong's help to wake Julie. Julie slaps Ben as she awakes because she felt Ben was touching her inappropriately and leaves angrily. The next morning, when Julie was leaving with her servants, she misses Ben. She realizes her mistake. Ben also misses Julie, but he diverts his attention and moves forward. But then suddenly Krista and her companions attack Ben, but he also counterattacks them. Ben wins because he has many powers. She gets impressed by Ben and says, "We have attacked you not to harm you, but we just wanted to check your power, because we have a group of powerful people. We fight for each other's sake. And we want you to be included in our group." Ben says, "No, I can't join your group because I have to leave for some mission." He leaves from there. After traveling for a long time, the village arrives. It was their ancestors' another village where his parents would be. Meanwhile, he notices a boy bullied by two other people. The boy was taking medicine for his old man, but they stopped him. They were not letting him go forward. Ben becomes furious and makes them leave him. Meanwhile, a crow was watching all of this, informs this to two people who belong to Loki's clan. Then they decide to kill Ben. Meanwhile, the boy gives medicine to the old man. Ben recognizes that old man was none other than his grandfather. He says to his grandfather, "You don't need to be worried anymore. Now I am here, none can problem you." His grandfather recognizes him and says, "Loki's servants tease us every day. They even break one of Roy's legs too. Now you have arrived, so nothing will happen to us." Hearing this, Ben becomes furious but then controls his anger and bows down. Then he asks, "Where are my parents now? Can I meet them?" to his grandfather. His grandfather tells him, "Your parents went to a mountain which was very dangerous. They went there to bring the medicine needed for you to get fine, but they didn't return." Ben says, "I want to take you both back to the stone village." While he was talking, two men from Loki's clan arrive. They try to kill Ben. But Ben was much stronger than before and defeats them all. And then the lady arrives and attacks Ben. She ends Ben's grandfather's life with a single attack. As his grandfather dies, Ben becomes angry, and he ends them all using his lion beast technique. Then he takes Roy to the stone village back with him. He was sad because today he couldn't save his grandfather. As he reaches the stone village, he discovers some people have attacked their village at night. Most of the people were injured because of it. That's it for part 3. Please do subscribe, like and comment #part 4 soon for more amazing parts in future. Thanks for watching.